What up, people? It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy. I'm Chris Down One, the official place to get you anything and everything pertaining to the social media, YouTube street. I am living swell. Be sure to check out the channel below. I just uploaded a live stream that was 2 hours long of tearing for this podcast. It premiered Saturday morning. Go check out that video at your leisure. You hear me? But this is too early for this light edition. All right, so peep this. T.I. and King, his son, got into a little squabble. All right. Apparently, allegedly, we had to use the word allegedly. Well, it's a viral thing. The clip is mad long, and the information is out there for your discretion. All right, but anywho, T.I. and King got into a little squabble, a little disagreement. You know, King trying to portray himself as this guy from the hood, and T.I. saying, yo, realistically, you know, you live in a gated community. I mean, you didn't have to go through the stuff I had to go through when I was a kid, when I was a child. You wasn't necessarily raised from the hood. And, you know, King trying to, you know, chase that clout because he was on Instagram Live trying to tell his audience that he's this tough guy. He's this guy from the hood where it's all no good. But anywho, T.I. was not having it. They had a little disagreement, and the disagreement came into a slight altercation, all right? Now, to me, personally, I felt like this should have been handled behind closed doors, but with the advent of social media, it just seems like everyone wants to take out their camera and just record or go on live to, you know, show to the world how they handle things or how they handle business or how they talk among their family members or their friends. You know, in private settings, you know, it's like this. You know, I just felt like that situation, that discussion should have been handled behind closed doors. You know, even though King may disagree with T.I. and T.I. may disagree with King, I'm gonna be honest with you, King. I mean, it's not like you was raised in a bad environment or the struggle was real. I mean, you know, you do have a silver spoon in your mouth. Now, you know, he's up here proclaiming on live that, you know, y'all portraying, you know, y'all meaning T.I. and Tiny, you know, portraying to the world that you're this, but you're really that. And he got some juicy details. He's got receipts that he will unleash. But, you know, I think that really ticked off T.I. It was sort of like a disrespectful thing to your parents. You know, your parents, you know, is taking care of you, and you reward them by, you know, disrespecting them. Now, some people from the outside looking in is going to say, good looking out, King. You should step up. You should speak for yourself. You should handle business appropriately. All right. And all this and this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, you know, that's a son. T.I. is his father, and, you know, you have to respect your elders, all right? No matter you may agree or disagree with them, but you still have to respect them, all right, at the end of the day. But I know a lot of you guys in the comment section is going to blow me up talking about this, that, and the third. What up? Pause on the blow, all right? Anywho, all right, in other news, Roy and Mealy Mole, they have ended their partnership with Slacker. I believe it was Stacker, whatever it is called. And they had an agreement by doing the audio version of Roy and Maul, new Roy and Maul, on their page, and their contract is going to cease to exist at the end of this year. Now, a lot of people are speculating that, what's going to be the future of Roy and Maul, all right? Because it's not like Spotify is knocking at their door. It's not like iTunes is knocking at their door. I mean, when they first announced to the world that they're going to have their own podcast, everybody was gaslighting it up, talking about, oh yeah, this is going to be the Joe Button killer, and everybody started gravitating to their YouTube channels as well as their podcast, subscribing on their Patreon, and this, that, and the third, really blowing up, pillow talking Rory and Maul to believe that this momentum that they had a few years ago was going to last. And I told you guys on this very YouTube channel that this was going to be temporary. And, Joe Budden had a setback, but, as talented as Joe Budden is, I knew that Joe Budden was going to get things situated. And with Ice and Ish, they were already popular personalities in the Joe Budden universe. And now you're adding Queen's Flip and Melissa Ford to the discussion, and you're also adding, other people as well. The Joe Budden podcast is back on the top. Is back on top. Like I, told you guys. I told you guys that Rory and Mal's success was not going to last long. It's only temporary. That was really Joe Budden haters gaslighting Rory and Mal. They hated Joe Mal. They hated Joe Budden from the start, even though they listened to his podcast each and every day. And some dishonest fans out there saying that, they're going to ride and die with Rory and Mal. Well, Rory and Mal's, after, they announced to the world that they was going to have a podcast, and they did a couple of episodes talking about Joe Budden, working for Joe Budden, the messy people, started peeping in. Those were their most popular episodes. Those episodes when they're talking about Joe Budden are the most watched, the most viewed, the viral things. But when they're talking about, normal stuff in their world, they don't reach those numbers. They don't even eclipse those numbers. And I remember Mal having a discussion with one of, I think it was the audio engineer or the technician behind the scenes, and he was basically telling Mal that, you're going to have to start talking about trending topics. You're going to have to start talking about entertainment news. You're going to have to talk about stuff that people actually want to gravitate to your podcast and listen to your podcast. And Mal, I think Mal, a lot of people think that Mal's lackadaisical. Mal really don't want to do podcasting. He's always throwing this ethics and, hey, we don't need to do it that way. I don't like talking about pop culture and entertainment topics and things of that nature. I want to be real in front of my audience. I think Mal embodies a lot of that stuff, but I also feel like Mal he's like the old man in the room, he fails to evolve. And if you want to be in this podcast space, I'm sorry, my guy, you're going to have to talk about stories that you necessarily don't think that are trending stories in your world, but it's trending stories to your viewership. All right. Now they, have been, they got a little buzz, talking about the Diddy situation and talking about why Joe Budden is not talking about the Diddy situation. And they're starting to gain some traction. But, from the first 4 or 5 episodes of New Rory and Mal to the last couple of episodes, particularly in this calendar year, in between those two things I just mentioned, it's just a bunch of, dry material. Not a lot of people are gravitating to their podcast. Not a lot of people are listening to the audio portion of the podcast. Not a lot of people are watching the videos. And Rory is trying to reconfigure it, saying maybe we should do more skits, maybe we should do this, maybe we should do that. Realistically, I think Rory and Mal is going to have to do a press run. They call it a car wash, and go to some bigger podcasts, not the smaller podcasts, not people that we don't know about. Rory and Mal. Like, I'm interviewing Rory and Mal. I mean, it's going to do great numbers for me, but it's not going to do necessarily great numbers for them because I'm not that influence and I'm not that successful. But that's what they've been doing for the past couple of years. But they've been going to some low-end YouTube channels and some low-end podcasts. I really think they need to do a press run. I think they need to go to Drinks Champs. I think they need to go to $1 Million Worth of Game. I think they need to go to these bigger podcasts that have a bigger platform and a bigger audience so people can get familiar with Rory and Mal. All right. me personally, I don't think Rory and Mal is that entertaining or something that you want to go check out each and every day. I think the only time people really want to go see Rory and Mal is when they talk about Joe Budden. And I said this when they broke up with Joe Budden, when they left Joe Budden podcast. The best thing they should have done was just do a couple of episodes about their time with Joe Budden and then move on and do their own thing, because they're going to be forever famous for being that. They're going to be forever famous for working for Joe Budden. All right. What episode that you can remember in the back of your head that said that you said to yourself, oh, that was a very memorable episode of Rory and Mal when they talked about this, or when they had this person on their podcast? The only thing memorable about Rory and Mal is when they're talking about Joe Budden. All right. So I think they're gonna have to reconfigure. Jemele Hill had to understand that when she got dropped by Spotify, she had to reconfigure and figure out the best lane and the best opportunity for Jemele Hill. And I feel like the same likewise for Rory and Mal. I think they should just keep it independent, stay on their YouTube channel, just do their videos and their podcasts there, and still record the audio portion of it, and survive like the rest of us. Come out with these episodes, and whatever fan base they have, they're going to support that. But I still think they need to do a bigger press run and go to bigger podcasts such as Drink Champs or $1 Million Worth of Game, or maybe the Joe Budden Show. Okay. Oh, Math Hoffa. Definitely they should go to Math Hoffa, and they definitely need to go to a bigger podcast that has a bigger pool when it comes to an audience, so that audience base can get familiar with them. So yeah, they're gonna have to definitely do that. Hazel, in other news, Hazel E allegedly confirmed that Cat Williams was very abusive to her, and he basically tried, in order to keep her, bought her gave her BBL. She wanted a BBL surgery. He paid for it. Gave her a Porsche. Gave her expensive gifts and money just to keep her, in the relationship. Now, she talked in an interview talking about this. Talking about some other things about Cat Williams. Now, no word on the other shoe dropping as far as Cat Williams go. I'm pretty sure Cat Williams is going to speak his mind and say his piece about the relationship and the dynamic between him and Hazel E. But that was something that was trending. Thought I was let you guys know about it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Too Early for This podcast, the light edition. Feel free, be sure to hit the subscription button, the notification bell. Check out the live stream that went live Saturday morning. As well as if you subscribe to me on I'm Chris Down One TV, I'm gonna be chopping those episodes up, and they will be basically on I'm Chris Down One TV. For the next couple of days on that platform. But it's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. Feel free, be sure to hit the subscription button and the notification bell. Share this with your friends, family, as well as your followers. Also support the Don Squad family. Okay, Don Squad in the house, stand up, salute. Support Just Me Nicole. She has a beauty channel. Go check that channel out. I love that channel, as well as The Dream, her YouTube channel. She does car content. She's doing vlogs now, and she's also on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, as well as OnlyFans. They are part of the Don Squad family. All right. And if you want to be part of the Don Squad family, it's just that simple. It's just that easy. All you got to do is, support the channel, show the channel some love, frequently be there, have some interaction, and Tell me about, if you're a content creator, just tell me about your channel. I'll go check it out. Your podcast, whatever it is, I'll go check it out. And if it's something that I dig, you too can be part of the Don Squad family. But it's your boy. I'm up out of here.